examination point of view. Long question are asked on this topic, parotid gland. Full question. So, I will all know that how many pairs of salivary glands are there in body. There are 3 pairs of the salivary gland. 3 major pairs of salivary gland. Okay, and this one is the largest one. Parotid gland, it is the largest pair of the salivary glands. Okay. What type of secretion it is from the parotid gland? Serous, mucus or mixed? What type of secretion? The parotid gland, the secretion, it is watery. It is totally serous. Okay. It is also important for the slide in the histology. You are asked what is the difference between the parotid, the submandibular, the sublingual gland histologically. So you remember that this is a totally serous gland, parotid. What does the nomenclature suggest? Para-otid. Para-otid. That means, para-otid means this pair of salivary gland, of course all the major salivary glands are present around the oral cavity, but where it is present, this one, the parotid gland, it is present para-otid. That means just around the, what it means, your external auditory meatus. Okay, so around this external auditory meatus, which means here the parotid gland, it is situated here around the para-otid. So that's why it is known as the parotid gland. What is the color? It is a lobulated, soft structure, yellowish brown in color. That you all know, yellowish brown in color. And what is the weight? Weight it is 25 grams. Okay, so weight of the gland is 25 gram and the color it is yellowish brown, the lobulated mass. Okay. What is the difference between all the 3 major salivary glands developmentally? Anyone? What is the difference between the other pair of the salivary glands and this parotid gland? Parotid gland developmentally it is ectodermal in origin. Ectodermal in origin. But submandibular and plus sublingual. Okay, both of them are endodermal in origin. A very important point. Developmentally, this is ectodermal in origin, this parotid gland, but submandibular and sublingual it is endodermal in origin. Now, where this parotid gland is situated? What is the extent of this gland around the ear? You have heard the name of parotid bed, or you can say the retromandibular fossa. Retromandibular fossa. Okay, retromandibular fossa it is, where the parotid gland it is situated. Okay. What are the structures which are forming the bed for these soft glandular structures? That is anteriorly. What is the limit? What is the extent? Anteriorly, I have said this gland it is situated around the ear. So anterior extension, it is bounded anteriorly by, what is this? This is the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible. So anteriorly it is bounded by the anterior border of the ramus. Look here, what is this? Just behind the pinna, here it is the mastoid process. So posteriorly it is bounded by this mastoid process. Superiorly, what is this? This is the external aqueous meatus, and what is there? This is the temporomandibular joint. This is the head of the mandible and this is the tympanic plate. So it is the temporomandibular joint, and the posterior aspect of that, it is forming the superior boundary of this retromandibular fossa. Okay. And inferiorly it is bounded by the muscles styloid process up to the pharyngeus and also by the sternocleidomastoid muscle and the posterior belly of the digastric muscle. Medial limitation is, you can see here, there is no styloid process here, it is broken here. So it is 2.5 centimeter elongated structure which is present here, which is known as the styloid process. So the medial boundary or the limitation, it is by the styloid process of which bone? That is the temporal bone, and there are so many muscles which are attached over the styloid process, like the stylopharyngeus medially, styloglossus anteriorly, as well as the stylohyoid inferiorly. So three muscles are attached on the styloid process. So it is forming a bed medially for the parotid gland, and anteriorly the bed is formed by the muscles which are attached on the mandible. What you see, this is the ramus of the mandible. So the muscles which is attached here, that is the masseter, and medially the muscle which is attached, that is the medial pterygoid. So anterior bed or the fleshy part which is provided by the muscles to the gland, it is by the masseter as well as the medial pterygoid. Posteriorly, this is the mastoid part, mastoid process. So what are the muscles which are attached here? Have you heard the name of sternocleidomastoid? Sternum, cleido means clavicle, and up to the mastoid process. So posteriorly it is the mastoid, laterally sternocleidomastoid, and medially there is a one more muscle which is known as the posterior belly of the digastric. Yes, you see on the medial aspect of this mastoid process there is a digastric notch from which posterior belly of the digastric muscles originate, and it is inserted over the base of the mandible anteriorly or the digastric fossa. So these muscles forms the bed for this parotid gland. Okay, so this was the boundary, limitations, extent of the parotid gland. Now the parotid gland, it is not confined here, it extends above, it extends anteriorly, and it also extends posteriorly. Anteriorly it extends over what? Over the masseter muscles. Posteriorly here there is a sternocleidomastoid, so it also extends some portion little bit posteriorly over the sternocleidomastoid also. Anteriorly some extension of the parotid gland, it is detached, and it is sometimes known as the accessory parotid gland. Okay, so that is the parotid bed of the parotid gland or the retromandibular fossa. Now, which type of, what is the shape of this? What is the shape of this gland? Anyone? The shape of, yes, the shape of this gland is three-sided pyramidal structure it is. It is a gland which is three-sided pyramidal in shape. Now what would be the, look, I have made a model for you all. It is a three-sided. So how many parts will be there? What are the parts of this parotid gland? Parts of this parotid gland. It has got a apex. Shape of the gland is three-sided pyramidal structure. Three-sided pyramidal. Okay, so it has got an apex. Apex, look here, it is apex, it is facing downwards. Okay, so apex it is facing downwards. Just opposite to the apex there will be a base. So this is the base and it is concave. Look here, it is the just opposite to the apex, it is the base, or it is also known as the superior surface of the parotid gland. Superior surface, or you can say the base of the parotid gland. Then what are the other surfaces? So on the surface you see the part of the parotid gland. Look here, the part of the parotid gland which is lying here, the part just below the skin that we can see here, that is the superficial surface or the lateral surface. Laterally, that is the superficial surface which is the largest surface. There is two words, superior which is the base and other is the superficial. surface of the parotid, which is the superficial surface. Then comes the anteromedial. I have made, suppose I have made the right parotid gland for you all. That so that this surface which is facing like this is the anteromedial surface. What is this? This is the anteromedial surface. And just opposite there is a posteromedial surface. Posteromedial surface. Then borders. What are the borders? Borders are three: anterior, posterior and the medial, also known as the pharyngeal borders. Okay? Look here. This is the shape of the parotid gland. If I am placing like this, so this is the apex of the parotid gland. This is the base of the parotid gland which is facing towards the external auditory meatus. This is the part of the surface which is just lying over the skin, that is the superficial or the lateral surface. So this is the anterior border and just opposite this is the posterior border. Look here, this is the posterior border and here it is the anterior border, and the facing medially, this border it is facing medially, so this will be the medial border. So you will keep the parotid gland like this. So anteromedial surface, this is the posteromedial surface and this is the lateral surface. This is the superior surface and this is the apex of the parotid gland. Okay? So these are the parts: apex, the base, the superficial, the anteromedial, posteromedial and the borders: anterior, the posterior, the medial and or the pharyngeal border. So these were the parts of the parotid gland that we know what are the surfaces and what are the borders of the parotid gland. Now what are the capsule of the parotid gland, and then we will discuss the relation of the different surfaces and the borders of the parotid gland. The capsule of the parotid gland is very important because a very important characteristic feature of the capsule is